All right, with the ice coming off the lakes in the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness and in Quetico across the Boundary Waters region, we're starting to talk more about people putting canoes on the water again this time of year. And the quota season in the BWCA starts on May 1st, so the timeliness of this conversation is very appropriate. We're speaking today with a Canadian paddler and YouTuber who we first met at Canoecopia in Madison this year, Camper Christina. Good to talk with you.
Hi.
Yeah,
How
it's
are
great.
you?
We're doing good. Yeah, we're ready to go hit the water. We've been out paddling once so far this year in the BWCA, and we're going to do some fishing for crappie this week and canoeing again. And then the fishing opener is May 11th. So we're heading in for our first overnight trip on May 10th. But we're talking with you today in particular because you had reached out to us with some concern about paddlers in Ontario. There's been some deaths of people in kayaks and canoes in the past week, and you just wanted to use a teaching moment here to talk about some of the issues with cold water and just people paddling at this time of year. It's definitely the most dangerous time, or right up there with the fall as well, when we're talking about cold water in particular. So let's use that as our launching point for the conversation. Unfortunately, some deaths in Ontario here in late April.
Not just in Ontario.
Yeah.
Also here, right?
Well, in another part of Minnesota, not in the BWCA, but there's been a person who died in southern Minnesota, actually, in a canoe. So, yes, there's been a person, and a teenager, 15-year-old, who died in Cottonwood County here in the month of April. So, cold water. It doesn't matter if someone's paddling in Ohio, Illinois, Minnesota, or Ontario. Like, it's a universal issue at this time of year when you're in the northern climates like we are. So that's why we're talking about this with you. Also, I should make note that you are really all about raising education and awareness for cold water paddling. You were in 2022, although you got the award, the recognition in 23. You were presented by the Canadian Safe Boating Council Safety Recognition Award, essentially. So this is a thing that isn't just prompted by the recent deaths in Ontario. This has been a thing here in advocacy for safe paddling, and the Canadian government essentially recognized that. So I'm sure they're really honored that you're on board with this message. Tell us why it's important for you, Camper Christina, this idea that you need to be safe this time of year.
Well, it's not just this time of the year, right? I mean, it's all year. Anytime you're on the water, you need to be safe, right? You never know what could happen. A lot of people are like, oh, I go out all the time, blah, blah, blah. I'm experienced, whatever. But I mean, it just takes a second, for something to happen. A tree branch is too low and you duck the wrong way and you shift your boat, or maybe your dog is in there with you and it moves around, or anything can happen when you're out there, and it's up to us to be responsible when we're out there. There isn't anybody, it's not like an amusement park ride where they're checking to make sure the seat belts are on and everybody's tucked in and comfy cozy. You have to be responsible for yourself when you're out there, and make sure that you've got the proper gear and you've got the proper things with you, so that if something does go wrong, you're able to help yourself and make sure that you make it home safely. And I just don't think that enough people are aware of those things and how easily it can happen. And I'm a YouTuber, like you said. I'm a person that's on social media a lot. I've got little kids, watching me. This little girl here, right, who sent me a picture of herself and me, that I met at the Outdoor Adventure Show, and she's watching my videos. And if I'm on a video and I'm not wearing my PFD, or I'm not wearing a dry suit at this time of the year, she's going to go, well, Mom, why do I need to wear one? Camper Christina doesn't do that, and it's monkey see, monkey do, right? People see other people doing things. They want to go out and do the same thing, and they don't know. They don't realize that, something could happen. And I think it's up to us, the more experienced people who've been around a while and, who know what to do, to kind of share this information and get it out there so that people stop dying. Like, it's totally avoidable, right?
Okay. And you've posted a video recently within the past couple of weeks where you are wearing a dry suit and part of it. And you said that that was something you've gotten into a little more recently, but you understand that not everybody can afford one. There's an economic side to a dry suit. But what are some other preventative things when we talk about clothing and gear that people could or should have?
Yeah. I published a video last Thursday. I actually made it on the fly the weekend before because I had heard of 2 deaths. I think we're up to 3 fatalities and 1 rescue right now between us and you, in the areas that we're in. So I just thought it was important. People don't know what the water temperature is. And it was something that I was really interested to know because I kept asking people, they got these charts, right, on all the websites. So if the water temperature is this, you've got this much time to do this and this much time to do that. But nobody knows the water temperature. It's not like you can just go, hey, Weather Network or wherever you're looking and find the temperature. So I bought a thermometer. I checked the temperature. I was surprised at how warm the thermometer said the water was. It was like 8 degrees Celsius, which is like, was that like around 44 degrees Fahrenheit in your language? And that's like pretty bad. You've got less than 5 minutes before you can't grab anything, and then it just goes downhill from there. So I just wanted to do something to get that out there. I've had a dry suit for since 2017, I believe, when I did my courses, and that's another thing. When you take courses and you get education, you learn about these kind of things, right? And why it's so important to wear a dry suit. But as you mentioned, not everybody can afford one. My friends Jenny and Tyler, they just purchased some used dry suits from a paddling outfitter. You could do that. You can wear a wetsuit. Wetsuit obviously isn't going to be as warm. It doesn't keep you dry. But what it does is it keeps you warmer because of your body temperature inside of the wetsuit. If you don't have that and you just have to go out, go to places where the water is shallow. Don't go to big, huge lakes, out in the middle of the lake where it's super deep. Stay in the shallow areas. There's lots of great places to explore all over where, the water isn't deep. You're close to shore. Bring something called a ditch kit with you. Dry bag, some dry clothes in it, something to start a fire with. I bring fire starters, lighter, maybe one of those emergency blankets, a couple of snacks, maybe something with some sugar in it. And am I forgetting anything, Joe? I know you know these things too.
Right. And we
I'm not
bring
an
that.
expert. I'm really passionate about it. So
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool that you are, that this is part of your YouTube channel, that you bring safety to it because a lot of the YouTubers don't. It's just like a trip report, or they use it only for like showcasing the really high quality videos that they make, or it's an entertainment component to it, of course. And you have that, but you blend it with the safety, the messaging, even like some journalism types reporting of incidents and safety. So I think that's really cool. I think that's a great component of your channel, is that you do try to use education as part of it. It's not just all fun and entertainment and so forth. But as far as the gear, I think you had a really solid list. And yeah, we bring that dry bag and the change of clothes, early ice, late ice. We have that with us. And then, when we're doing our overnight trips, it's always there because you've got gear for a few days. But we've been bringing it more on day trips for canoe tripping in May, this time of year, and October, November. We never used to do that, or we didn't even have a dry bag. It was just like a Duluth pack with, kind of a canvas bag with like some fishing gear in it and a sandwich or something. But now we're bringing a dry bag and more clothing and so forth. So yeah, I think you summed it up really well in that regard. Let's talk a little more just about your channel and who you are, and how long you've been doing this, and tell us a little more just about yourself.
First of all, I didn't mention the most important thing, which is wear your PFD. It's a no-brainer for me, and I didn't mention it because to me it's just totally obvious, but there are so many people who aren't wearing their PFDs. I know it's not the law. You just have to have it with you, but it's not going to do you any good if it's sitting on the seat or it's sitting in the boat and you fall in. You're not going to be able to grab it and put it on while you're in the water trying to, survive. So PFD is huge for me. I always wear it, and it's really important because you're going down if you're not wearing, especially at this time of year. I mean, in the very least, wear a PFD, right? If you don't have the dry suit. But a little bit about me. Let's see. I started Camper Christina in 2015. There was a contest on with Woods Canada. They were promoting the Trans-Canada Trail, the completion of it, and they wanted to do something big. So they had a contest where they were looking for 2 people to spend 5 months on the TCT and do all these social posts about it and stuff. I didn't win, obviously. But in the process, I was getting my, as I call it, my outdoors resume together of all the trips that I'd done in the past and courses that I've taken and stuff. And just said, you know what, like, I don't need to win a contest to do this. I can just do it on my own. So I started my blog at first, and shortly after I started the YouTube channel. And then I was running both of them for a couple of years, which was exhausting. I have a full-time job. This isn't my job. I don't get paid to do this. I do it because I love it. And I just kind of slowly moved away from the blog posting every week and just kept with the YouTube videos. And I have published a video every week, a minimum of 1 video per week for the last 5 years, which is quite a feat, I'm sure you know. And I think I'm over 600 videos. I also have 2 courses online that I created. The first one I started called Backcountry Camping for Beginners. It was started in 2020-ish because of COVID. All kinds of people couldn't go anywhere, so they decided they were all going to start going camping and canoe tripping, and then they would go to the campgrounds and they were full, so then they tried to go in the backcountry. No experience, no knowledge, and the courses were shut down because a lot of in-person things weren't going. So I created a course. It took me 5 months. It's all online, and huge course, very cheap. You can get it on Udemy. You can find the links on my website. And then shortly thereafter, I created a course called Winter Camping for Beginners as well. And you can find all that stuff on my website at camperchristina.com. But again, sometimes these courses go on sale for $5. I don't care. I'm not trying to become rich off of it. I just want people to learn. I want them to have knowledge so that you go out with knowledge. Knowledge is power. And if you know how to prepare yourself for things, if something goes awry, you've got that backup stuff and that education to fall back on and be able to rescue yourself or save yourself or get yourself out of a bad situation. And when you're out in the backcountry, there's nobody there. You can't just call somebody, hey, come help me, right? Like sometimes you don't even have a signal. So it's really important to do these things and to know what you're getting into so that you're safe and you can make it home. I just want everybody to make it home.
Okay. Well, we have found through storytelling about canoeing and paddling over the years that stories and examples are really the most impactful way and the way that people seem to respond the most. So I'll share a quick story about a person from Minnesota who was paddling in Quetico near Cache Bay. They did the falls chain and they capsized their canoe, all 3 canoes, 6 Minnesota guys, and all 6 of them went in the water. 4 of them were wearing their life jackets, and one of them drowned. His name's Tom Ackerman. And the ranger was at Cache Bay at that time was Janice Matichuk, who is the figure from Her Island, the book that I wrote about the longest serving ranger in Quetico. And she was able to save 5 of the 6 guys, and then Tom drowned, and he wasn't wearing his life jacket. And so that goes back to what you were saying about wearing a PFD. And particularly, that was in early June when that incident happened after a late ice out. So pretty similar to what we'll probably have around mid-May as far as the water temperature and so forth, which is right around the fishing opener. So these are very serious things that we're talking about. We're not just trying to be obnoxious and remind people about wear your life jacket. I know that just gets hammered home so much by Department of Natural Resources and the Ministry of Natural Resources in Ontario, or wherever you rent your canoe from and that type of thing. Like, hey, wear your life jacket. But it's serious. We're trying to really emphasize that these stories, these examples are true, and they have consequences and impact families and change other people's lives, and not just the person who passes away in a situation like that. So try to be considerate of family and your friends and your group and your people and your life. But when you're going on these trips, it's definitely very serious things that Camper Christina and I are talking about today. So I hope people are hearing.
And it's not only your family and friends, right? There are people that have to now risk their lives to come and help you and to save you. So you're not only putting yourself in danger, you're putting other people in danger, right? Those first responders, those people that are going to come out and, they're going to spend hours in the water, sadly looking for your body at the bottom of the lake. I know it's harsh, and people are losing loved ones, and, it's just not necessary. It doesn't need to happen. It's just such a simple thing to do that can resolve the situation. And I don't understand why people don't do it. Like, I just don't, it's not logical to me, right? That it's still going on so much too. Like, it's happening a lot, right?
Right. Okay. Well, you've done one trip so far this year, and you've got a video coming out in like the 1st of May about your first overnight, or at least you were in a canoe for a full day. Or tell us what's coming up for you.
This Thursday, I publish a video every Thursday. It gets published on YouTube Wednesday night, and then Thursday I post it to social. So this week is my first paddle of the season, which actually happened 3 weeks ago. Then we had a whole bunch of crap weather in between there, so I'm like, nah. And I just did my first backcountry trip. I just did a one-nighter on Friday. Again, right? I'm not trying to say I know all the things or I'm an expert or anything like that, but I'm fairly experienced. I went out with a friend of mine. We both wore dry suits. Friday was a beautiful day. Saturday, as you know, you had the same kind of weather, really high winds. Check the winds, check the weather. We had really high winds coming in, and what they called on the weather network as soaking rain coming in. 20 to 40 millimeters was the warning. And so we just paddled in 20 minutes into a backcountry site, had a great time, spent Friday exploring. Friday night, slept there. Saturday morning, got up 7 o'clock, took off. Just as we're driving home, the rain started coming, the thunder and lightning came after. So you just got to be aware of everything that's going on, like in the situations you're putting yourself in. And, it's a one-nighter. Oh, well, I'd like to have gone for the whole weekend. I could have, but I'm not trying to put myself in danger, and I don't want other people to see me doing that either, because I'm just setting a bad example, right? And it's not necessary, right? There's going to be lots of great weekends coming where we can all go out and do things when the water's warmer and the temperature's nicer, and we'll be a little safer. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll look forward to checking out your upcoming videos. And as you said, you release them weekly. So we'll be following those, and we'll share some links on Paddle and Portage as well. And hopefully we can get in a canoe with you at some point this summer or fall as well.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for this reminder here at the start of the paddling season, wearing your life jacket, being really mindful of the conditions, having the extra gear, and just being safe in this cold water time and throughout the paddling season, as you emphasize, not just now, but all the time in a canoe, so that you can get back out there and keep having fun in a canoe like we are all about here at Paddle and Portage and Camper Christina, who we're talking with today. So good to see you and talk with you again. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me and for helping to spread the message. It's really important that we get the news out there and people know what to do.